v'seyavare lefanecha, v'seyare lefanecha, asiroseinu hayana rachum, hayana rachum, rachum rachamecha rabim, hayana rachum, hayana rachum, rachum rachamecha rabim, Yosef Hashem Shchinas Hashem V'seinu nirecha Hashem V'Yerushalayim Hashem Hashem Shchinas Hashem V'seinu nirecha Hashem Zayde Rabbi Dali Yerushalayim. A good vach Rabbi Sai. Lilu Nishmasi Mimirosu Rispas Mordechai. I want to welcome all the guests to one of the most beautiful sukkahs ever. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'yirei pri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu le'shem. I heard an over-enthusiastic amen. I didn't see, but I'm guessing it's from our guest from Tom's River. Oh, what's your name?
Avi Rosenthal.
Avi Rosenthal from Tom's River. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you for being here. What's your name? Noach Schwartz from Borough Park. Who else is a guest there? Oh, in the far, far corner of Boy Sites, Uncle Phil himself. Wow. Who's with you? Who's next to you? David Hess. You've been here before. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. Thanks for bringing Uncle Phil. You came together? I know he brought you. I'm just, Next to you, Shmuel Roth. Chicago. What, you remember me from Chicago? You've been to those chasanas at Midwest Conference Center? How many? Too many again. Shalom Aleichem. And you, what's your name? Ray Goodman from? You're also familiar. Grandfather. He's your grandfather. Our gabbai in the youth minyan, and the one that gives speeches every Shabbos with maturity. The grandfather. You didn't tell me I have English blood. If I would have known, I don't know that you'd be a gabbai today. Wow. So we have a lot of, in lieu of emails. In lieu of, what's the Shabbos? Let's, who else is a guest there? A lot of people. Shalom, what's your names? Tell your father to say that. What's his name? Shalom Aleichem. You were here already, what, on Friday? When were you here? Motzei Shabbos. Who else? Welcome back, Doc. You were in America? You came back? You were here the whole time? You left us, but Shemesh. Okay. If anybody needs to come in, so we have, I think, more seats on the other side. Come around the sukkah. Come around the sukkah, we have more seats. There's a disaster going on on the blocks. People parked illegally in the beginning of the block, so it's very hard to get out. So if people snuck in, couldn't find parking, and they're trying to get out, and there's cops, and there's a whole thing. So I would just recommend not even coming into this block, into Nachal Noam. There's a parking lot. Instead of making a right turn into Nachal Noam, you make a left right there, and there's a giant parking lot. It's full? Oh. Bring your drone. Who else? What are you doing here? You. Yeah. Shalom Aleichem. Once a year you do it. But your Shas is still here. Donated a Shas and made a Vayivrach. Who else wants to say hello real quickly before we start share? What's your name? Edgar. You related to this guy? Nephew. So who went off the derech? Wow. Okay. Shalom Aleichem. Nice. This is how we start things off. This is your first time here. We do a little insult, and then we make up, and then we go weiter. Shalom Aleichem. Where are you from? Shlayim. Oh, gewaldig. Okay. Gewaldig. We have to do sponsors. Mesechta sponsor David Solomon, dedicated in memory of Avi Meiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Chaim Tzvi Doiv Zichron Levracha. Anonymous, all these are Mesechta guys. Lili Shmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Zichron Ben Shmuel Chaim Asher Shokav Lo Ben Kodshim Kol Chayav. Anonymous, L'schus Refu Shlema Nochem Tzvi Ben Yenta, sponsored by Skybrook Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs Taki Shamshi Shlafrak. For devotion to Torah study, you know what? We have to do this. For the Taki, and then we drink some wine. Chaim, and then we say Sham Shishlafer for the devotion, Torah study, and their share. Joe Kedalius, Lin Nishmas, my father, Jack Kedalius, Anonymous Hatzlach Brooklyn's Vegashmius month. Rivka and Dr. Avron Epstein pray for complete speedy recovery for Dr. Harold Goldmeyer. Anonymous Rufus Shlema for Dina Bad Esther. Anonymous from London, Parnasa B'Shefa. Yuda Lushinsky, in honor of my father's 6th cycle of the Daf, your big heart and giving to the community is inspiration for all of us. Anonymous Brochat B'Lidai, Yehuda Ben Yom Ben Chava, and Baruch Tzvi Nisim Ben Shoshana Leah. Anonymous, Lashon Tov Mutuga L'Schus El Yom and Chai Dvar in honor of my Chavrusa Simchale. Mazel Tov to Talia on her birthday. Urgent Refuah Shlema for Chaim Yosef Ariel Ben Sarah Razel. What time is it? It's 10:02. We got to get going. HYK Ventures Refuah Shlema for Elka Bas Chano, Anonymous, and the merit of Bracha Bat Chano for good health. Monthly, the art. Refuah Shlema for Yonatan Eitan Bebe Shava Bracha. Where is he? How come he's not coming to the sukkah? You saw him on Friday. Givaldik. Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. Refuah Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther Aboisai. We saw the Mishnah on Daf Chavav Amud Aleph. The Mishnah says that if you put the blood on the wrong part of the Mizbeach, I told him to take the Mizbeach away. Whatever. You guys know what it looks like. There's a red line in the middle of the Mizbeach. The Chatos goes above the red line. All the other animals go below the red line. If you mixed it up, you put the blood on the top instead of the bottom. If you put the blood on the bottom instead of the top, puzzle. So we're going to see we have a machlokes. We started off with Shmuel. Here's Shmuel. Rabbi Isai, if you could turn your phones off. Yishar Koyach. Oh, it's another guy turning his phone off. Great. Shmuel. Here's Shmuel. You guys see? Shmuel. Shmuel holds that if you put the blood in the wrong spot on the Mizbeach, it's still good. Loi bim koimai, kim koimai. You put it on top of the red line, it's like as if you put it on the bottom. It's perfect. For what? Yesh lebalam kapara. Only for kapara. For everything else, no good. In other words, the meat is no good. You can't eat it. You can't put it on the mizbeach, etc. And we're going to see Rish Lakish is basically saying the same thing as Shmuel. The one who argues, and it's literally at the end of the sugi, it's literally the same Shmuel and Rish Lakish. The one who argues is Rabbi Yochanan. He says putting it on the bottom instead of the top, no good, and therefore the owner does not have a kapara. Going back to Shmuel, that's where we're at. So we had a little bit of a discussion here, and the Gemara says, where was it? Oh, and the Gemara says at the end that apostle was the one that applied the blood, and the Gemara said maybe it should be dachui, and that's where we finished off. There's no dachui. So the Gemara says we're holding by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom. Ihachi, smack in the middle of a sugya. Ihachi kabbalah nami. So then, what's the problem? Then why? Not what's the problem? Why is it only by shchita? Kabbalah is also a problem. If we're talking about somebody who's apostle, if the guy, let's say, is Yisrael, could Yisrael actually have the wrong intent? Who could have the wrong intent for pigul and chus l'makom, chus l'zman, and all the other things that are b'machshava? We're going to talk about in a second. There's 3 things that could be a bad machshava. Only somebody that could do the avodah, not a Yisrael, not apostle. It can't be, let's say, a mincha soimer, says Rashi. It has to be on a mizbeach that doesn't have any bgam. It has all the stones are perfect. Selimar says like Tema Zarko. We're not talking about zrika. Before, when I said in the beginning of the sugya, we're not talking about shchita. We're talking about zrika versus kabbalah. So Gemara says, take out the word zrika. You're right. We're talking about all the way in the beginning, the shchita. And now Yisrael could perform the shchita. Psulim could perform shchita. Therefore, what? What's the fearois? Since they could perform the shchita, therefore they could have a bad intent. They could ruin it with their intent. Other things they can't, because they can't do Kabbalah, they can't do Zrika. So they can't ruin it. You're right. In the other Avodas they can't ruin it. But in the shchita they could. My Kamashmal on the Pasal Machshava, you tell me that a Machshava during shchita, Kapasal Tanina that we learned, these guys that are puzzle for the Avodah, during shchita they could have a Machshava. My timing to the Rava, as Rava says, that apostle cannot ruin it with his machshava past the shchita. From Kabbalah, Hoylacha, Zrika, a Yisrael cannot have, if the Yisrael decides to walk the blood to the Mizbeach, he can't have a bad machshava. He can't ruin his machshava. Meisvei. So Rabbi Isai, what are the three different machshavas that a Kohen has in his mind that makes it possible? What are the three machshavas? No, anybody? Chutz l'zman, chutz la makoim, and what else? The first mission in Zevachim is l'shma. L'shma ruins it. In other words, if you have the wrong carbon, wrong bilim, by what? Only two karbanos. Which ones? Chatas and a Pesach. So, those are the three machshavas. Listen to this. Meisvei. If a person had a thought in his mind, a kohen, as he's performing the avodah, he says to himself, you know what? I want to mess around there a little bit. I want to take this blood, instead of putting it below the red line, I want to put it above the red line. Is that a machshav of pigul? No. Why? Because it's not one of the three things we just discussed. Chutz l'zman, he didn't think in his mind that he's going to do this reek in 3 days. He didn't think in his mind he's going to eat it in 3 days. And he also didn't think he's going to eat it outside of Yerushalayim. And he also didn't think it's for another owner. All he thought about is that it's going to be above the red line. That's not a machshava that could passel. And therefore the halacha is la'alter kosher. If you thought about it right away, it's kosher. Rabbi Isai, you all remember we learned, when we're learning about pigul today, actually, maybe it's tomorrow, I'm mixing up the bab. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow, at the end of the second half of the shir, is all about pigul and chutz makom. How do we know it and what the... But one of the halachas we discussed, and everybody remembers this, is that pigul has to be a pure machshava of pigul. In other words, it's one of these things, the isser is only if you think about it as pigul and you don't think about another something that ruins the carbon. Ememela. We just said if a person had a thought that the blood is going to be given underneath the red line, not above the red line, or vice versa, it doesn't do anything, doesn't ruin it. So now he has another thought. He realizes it doesn't work. He has another thought that he's going to eat this carbon mechutz l'zman, mechutz l'makom. Is it a good pigul or not a good pigul? The answer is it's a very good pigul. Why? Because the first thought that he had is 0. If the first thought would count, then you can't have a machshav of pigul. Pigul has to be pure. It has to be mamish, the purest form of isser, without any disturbances. So this is not considered a disturbance. Nothing. Doesn't do anything. Kosher. So Memela. Chaz v'chishav. Tap of Chavzayin Amud Aleph. Chutz l'mkoyim apostle. V'em bekaris. Chutz l'zmanoi pigul. And if he thinks to himself he's going to eat it outside of the allotted time, or he's going to put it on the mizbeach outside of the allotted time, which is also a type of a form of eating, pigul. It's a perfect pigul, because his first machshava of putting it above the line means nothing. V'chayav malav kares, and therefore you get kares for that. L'machar pasol. But now, once you have a machshava that ruins it, so the following day, pasol chazav chishav bei bein chutz l'zmanoi bein chutz l'mkoymoi pasol bein bekaris. Now the pigul is no good anymore. Why? Because the original machshava is good. Now the Gemara asks, well, wait a minute. If you tell me like Shmuel, here on the chart, Shmuel holds that putting the blood below the red line instead of above the red line is good in a way. It's partially good. Why is it partially good? It's good for the kapara of the owner. It's not good that you can't eat the meat. So it accomplishes something. If it accomplishes something, as the Gemara, Pigolo. He thought in his mind he's going to put the blood above the red line. Why is that not considered pigol? So Gemara says, Omar Marzutru Zrika the Sharia Basa Bachila, Maiside Pigol. Zrika the Sharia Basa Bachila, Maiside Pigol. We basically answered the question because it's only a partial, it only works partially. His machshava, his putting above the red line and above it doesn't work to allow the meat to go on the mizbeach. So Mela, it doesn't bring to a situation of pigul. I guess I didn't say this Maisa in English, so I'll say it in English. Rabbi Chana Wasserman, did I say it? If I said it, tell me right now. I want to say the same story twice. Nope. Rabbi Chana Wasserman, it's known that he was in America. He was already saved from the war. He was already, as the Nazis were going in and exterminating, he was in America collecting money for Baranovich, for the yeshiva, and he was saved. Then he heard that the Bachram are not doing well, obviously, that they're very scared, and he decided to go back to Europe. He went back to Europe, and the Nazis got him, and they were bringing him to one of the camps. And on the way, as they're literally going into the gas chambers, there's testimony of this. It's in the beginning of Kovitz Europe. He looked at all the Bachram over there, and he said, guys, Hashem, for some reason, chose us to be a carbon for Klal Yisrael. And as a carbon, you can't have any impurities of thought. You can't think anything. So let's do tshuva, and let's accept the Gzar Din b'ahava, and like this we won't have any pigul. So if you have any impurities, it's pigul. Another Maisa, I like to say this one from Baron Kotler. One of the Bachram in Lakewood was getting married, and he gave a drasha, as a lot of chasanim do. And people that witnessed this, they saw him, he's fidgeting, and he's getting more and more upset as the speech was going on. And finally, he burst out and he said, bring the raya. What's your raya? He kept on, the Bachar kept on building upon, a drasha upon a drasha, and then finally he's like, okay, it sounds good, but do you have any raya? So Gemara says over here, min halacha. How do you know this halacha? Says the Gemara, you only get kares when the pigul caused it that you can't eat it. The pigul didn't cause it to not be eaten. The fact that he put it above the red line and below the red line, that's what caused it. If that's the case, so why is it puzzle at all? You're right. It shouldn't be possible. But now there's something new. This is a new machshava that we didn't know about until now. It's called machshavas hinuach. When the person decides, the kohen decides that he's not going to put the blood, there's a machshava that he's going to put the blood in 3 days from now. That's machshavas pigul. Here's another machshava. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. I'm never going to put it on the mizbeach. That's also a bad machshava that makes it possible. It's not pigul, but it makes it possible. It's called machshavas hinuach. I'll leave it to Rabbi Yehuda. Fine. So what do we have till now? We have that in our Mishnah where it says that if somebody decided that he's going to put the blood above the red line instead of below the red line, it's possible, but only that you can't put the meat on the mizbeach, you can't eat it, but it actually does work in a way, this carbon, that the owner that brought the carbon gets kapara. He doesn't have to bring another carbon. We're going to see that Rish Lakish basically says the same exact thing. Rish Lakish Amar loylam pasal mamish. The only difference is how Rish Lakish translates the Mishnah, how he explains the Mishnah. Where Shmuel says the word pasul means, no, half pasul, half not pasul. Pasul for the Mizbeach, not pasul for kapara. Rish Lakish learns differently. He says, no, you're right that when you put the blood, you apply the blood below the red line instead of above the red line, or above the red line instead of below the red line. It's a good zrika. It's bimkoimai, loy bimkoimai, kimikoimai. Not in its right place is like the right place regarding the kapara. Just. So when it says pasul, it means mamish. The entire Mishnah means he's pasul. He doesn't get a kapara, and you can't put the meat on the mizbeach. Completely normal, like you and I would read it. Pasul, it means pasul. Shmuel comes with chiddush. No, it doesn't mamish mean pasul. It only means 50% pasul, but the other 50% is kosher. Says Rishon, I don't like that pshat. Pasul to me means everything. I agree with everything you're saying. All the halachas that you said are correct. Just how do you explain the Mishnah is incorrect. You see, on the chart, they both have a check, a green check. They both hold the same thing. So, the Mishnah, the reason why the entire thing is possible, because the kohen had a bad thought. Not only did he put the blood in the wrong place, he also had a bad machshava of pigul, whatever it is. Where typically, if he just put it in the wrong place, you're right, he would have a kapara, because he didn't have it was vishtika. In other words, vishtika means his mind was silent. He didn't have anything going on in his mind. He just put it in the wrong place. The Bible gets a kapara. But if you add another element to it, you have the raw machshava. I'm going to play a game with the Olam here. I need some help. Shalebim kaimai. When I said shalebim kaimai, one of the things I thought about shalebim kaimai is things that are not in the right place. So think about stories, because I want to add to my list. I have two decent stories, not the best, which I saw. One of them was there was a younger. There's a lot of crazy stories. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to the easy ones. Bar mitzvah boys. The bar mitzvah boy, he was davening mincha for the Amud here in Pnei Shmuel, and when he was done with mincha, he says, he did a baruch hu. Now the oil didn't know what to do, because he said baruch hu. Okay, some people answered, some didn't. That's one thing. Another one that I liked a lot, because a lot of bar mitzvah guys, they say baruch hu Hashem. They say Hashem instead of that I've seen 1,000 times. This one was good. Guy gets up there and he says, Rabbi Sai Nivarech. Instead of Baruch Hashem Baruch. That was a classic. The whole place they didn't know what to do. Anybody else want to add to Geshmak Maisa? Huh? Hagba, that's an old one. Yeah. I saw that with my own eyes. It was in the Vasikim Minyan. The guy was half asleep. And they go, yeah, Moed. So he goes up there and he did Hagba. And then he did the Aliyah. He did this same guy, after he did Hagba, he did the Aliyah. It's just brought back a memory. My father had a Vasikim Minyan in our garage on East 4th Street in Kensington. And there was this guy, he was one of these guys, not married. He says, wake me up if you need a minyan. I used to go knock on his, we always had 9, we never had 10. I used to go wake this guy up. He was half asleep. So anyways, he got an Aliyah. After he got the Hagba, he did the Hagba. No, put it down. What are you doing? Okay, fine. He does the Aliyah, and he made his bracha, and then they called up somebody else, and then he made another Aliyah. He chapped other guys. He was completely asleep. Anybody else? Oh. Asher Yatz on the Chuppah. Maisa Shahaya? At your cousin's chas, and Asher Yatz by the Chuppah. Did he do it on purpose? By accident. But you know what? Seriously, this is what happens. I'm not joking. This everybody can relate to. You're starting Haidu, you're in the middle of Haidu, whatever. All of a sudden you find yourself by Ishtat. Why? Because you took a pasuk. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying these pasuk, you have no idea. Wait a minute. How did I get to Azir? Ooh, I might have been doing this for the last 6 years also. It's a good thing I caught myself now. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know where it is. There's certain words that just go into the next thing. What? That also. Which would say? Which would say? Oh, and I'm talking about in public. Yeah.
Diamond Shabbos, he was there on time. He went to sleep between Shabbos and Seder. Beginning of Seder, his alarm clock goes off. He comes to Seder, puts on Thomas tefillin.
Somebody in my yeshiva, he came in with this tefillin with the box on still, like he was wearing his tefillin. Mom's a real Eli. Okay, fine. Next.
Oh, kissing your tzitzis during Meyer.
That's the same, but weiter. Anyways, should I know a guy that's 50 years old. I never said anything. I don't have the guts to tell him. Every time I hear him say Oleinu, something in his brain switches. He skips the entire Oleinu from beginning to end, and by him he said it. He doesn't understand why everybody's going and going. Something goes. He switches. All right, weiter. Who? Oh. You ever heard a big thump on Friday night? Yeah, that's all the ADDers do that. Yeah, no, it's just a little bit of an itch. If anybody says more Shmoneh Esrei is than me for forgetting Daf Yomi, raise your hand. You also? It's Noirvayim the matzav. Okay, Zog the Gemara. So that's Shalibim Koimai. I have no idea where we are. Is the shir over now? Oh. None. So over there, it's a similar mission to ours, but over there it's discussing you go back and do a kapara. So it says, he thought about putting the blood instead of down above the red line, lemala instead of above, lemato. Oh, so now since Rish Lakish says the same exact thing as Shmuel, so we're just going to ask the same questions that we asked on Shmuel all the way. It's v'goymer v'chulu v'chulu v'chulu. V'aliba the Rabbi Yehuda goes like Rabbi Yehuda. Great. And finally, now we're on the opposing team now. Rabbi Yochanan Omar. This is Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan argues. First of all, he says, if you put the blood in the wrong below here, I don't even need this. Yoshi did this, I didn't use it on Friday. Here we go. Chatos, he put the blood of the shlamim above the red line. He put the blood of the chatos below the red line. What is this? Okay. It's only l'saber's hoinaim. Okay. We have something else coming up. It's Geschmack, right, Benny? It was Geschmack. Eitan G, you'll love this one coming up.
Go ahead.
We got a rap coming up, but it's in Hebrew.
It's not rapping.
Oh, but the idea is that you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna. How do you know? Who? Zevachim did. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Idi Shenasam B'Shtika, the Mishnah and everything, all the steers that we had, everything is talking about a case where the kohen did not have any other intent. He put the blood in the wrong place, like we just saw, without something else going on in his mind. If you put the blood in the wrong place, pasul, no good. So, how come we said that the guy could go back and redo the blood? Because there's actually more blood coming out of the neck of the animal. There's dam nefesh. I don't know if you remember. We said it quickly then. We learned there's the blood of the skin that's no good for zrika, and there's dam tamtzis. That's the blood that comes out after the dam nefesh. We're trying to get the dam nefesh, the blood that the neshama comes out with. We're going to see it might have different colorations to it, but over here there's more blood. So go redo it. What's the problem? And our Mishnah talking about there's no other blood. There's nothing you can do about it. Tanan, possible bikares. It says in the Mishnah that if you put the blood in the wrong place, it's possible, but you don't get kares. Shlakish. What's going on according to Rish Lakish? He had the wrong thought. Remember, our Mishnah is talking about he had the wrong. Not only did it put it below the red line, above the red line, he also thought himself a bad machshava that's paisel. So that now it makes sense. Hainu diktani pasul vein bekaris. It's not pigul. Ella the Rabbi Yochanan mayim bekaris. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, that he did it b'shtika. We said there's no thoughts going on. So why would I even think that he has to get karis if there's no thoughts going on? Kasha, good question. Well, Shmuel, let's just talk about Shmuel for a second. Well, Shmuel, that also says there's no machshava over here. There's shtika. Mayim bekaris. What's pshat? There's no karis. Hachikama. Even though some machshava, you should know that if you did have a thought, a bad thought, pause mayim bekaris. Rabbi Yochanan, just a question on Rabbi Yochanan. What does Rabbi Yochanan say? He put in the wrong place, no good. So what happened? There was a shchita, there was a kabbalah in the vessel. And what did he do? He poured the blood instead of on the, here, like this. Let's just go back. We have a picture, might as well show it. Right here. Not this one. This one. Instead of putting it below the red line, he put it above the red line. So we all know what happens if you have blood inside the klisharis. You're about to do zrika, and you trip, you fall, and all the blood falls on the floor. What do? You sponge it up, tinko it, and you put it back in the thing, and then you go weiter. So let's say you put it on a wall, not the mizbeach, you put it on this wall, scrape it off the wall, and go weiter. You put it above the red line, instead of below the red line. According to Ariel, it's 0, so just scrape it off the wall and continue weiter. What's the problem? Says Gemara, a very convenient answer. Because he holds that you're not allowed to gather it. If it falls on the floor, you're over. He holds like that. If it's supposed to go above and you put it above, in other words, you put it in the right place. But you did it with your left hand, or you had a bad machshava. Let's say he's talking about it with the left hand. Lo yasvenu. Here's the mandama that says you're not allowed to gather it. What? Yeah, because he made the mizbeach, so the mizbeach was koileted. Fine, okay. But if he put it in the wrong place in the mizbeach, Yosi says, even though he holds loibim koimoi it's like not in the right place, but nevertheless you're not allowed to gather it. Reb Shimon Bechoi says you should gather it. We're doing time here. Okay. And now our Mishnah, we have to say he's talking about that you're not allowed to gather it. That's why you don't have an issue. Now, Rabbi Isai, I got to remind, we have 8 tanji here in the house. I got to tell you, at least 3 people came over to me already and said, because of 8 tanji, I do. Like a Kyle guy from Beitar told me, I said, listen, the guy didn't even know what unklus is, and he finished it. How could I not do it? It's also his first time that he's doing it. And Mamela, Rabbi Isai, if you haven't been doing Shnai Mikra, it's a great time to. What's this gula for, what do we say? The 12-year-old. Long life. What does Targum say on it?
Targum Uncle Lewis?
Yeah. Gewaldig. Okay. Sponsor. Before we get to the third and final turning of the daf, sponsored by Dow Global Specialists in International Financial Services. Anonymous as Schus Vatzlach and Ruchnis and Gashmis. Anonymous as Schus is support of Torah. That all tests should come back 100% healthy for me and my family. Givaldik. Virav Chizdo Amar Avim. Rabbi Isai, just like the status. Sometimes you put a status and somebody joins the shir because of you and you had no idea. So today, our guest from Tom's River, I met him and his wife. And his wife tells me, I love your article in the Ami. So then I told somebody, I said, nobody really tells. He says, no, what are you talking about? My neighbor buys the Ami because of your article. Nobody ever said a word. Shkoyach. Huh? My wife said this week's was. She said, amazing. Which one? She didn't understand the beginning.
It's about guests.
The beginning, she said the 13-year-old, she didn't understand. Then my son came by and he says, are you talking about the 13-year-old? I didn't understand a word you said about the 13-year-old. Okay, fine. This looks good. I'm going to control myself. Go with this one. I didn't make a bracha yet on this. The guest. You're talking about guests. All these guys are guests there. There's a lot of guests. If you're a guest, raise your hand. No, seriously, raise your hand. That's it. That's it. You guys are guests. Okay, we said Shalom Aleichem. Okay. You're not a guest. What kind of guest are you from Manchester? You see, I know where you're from. It says you're not a guest. Yeah. Okay, let's go weiter. So, V'Rav Chisda Amar Avimi, Hakol Moedim B'Nitonim Lamato Shenesonim Lamalo Shelo Yisvenu. Everybody agrees that if it's supposed, you put the blood in the wrong place, you should not gather it. V'Koshkim B'Nitonim Lamalo Shenesonim Lamato. And certainly, if it was supposed to go above and you put it below, eventually the blood drips down. The top goes to the bottom. So in Mela, there's no reason for you to redo it. Because eventually anyways it's going to end up on the bottom. So if you put it on the bottom, it's kilo, okay. So you're supposed to put it on the top, but it reaches the bottom. So if you put it directly in the bottom, it's such a svara. I told him to knock down this chart so you could just look on the screen. This is, I think this is new and improved. Maybe I don't see any major improvements here, but let's do this. Oh no, it's not going to work. So let me zoom out and get a laser. Here we go. Okay, this right over here, Rabbi says the Heichel. You see the red dot or not? I don't see it on the screen at all. Okay. So you're supposed to, this is the Mizbeach. You're supposed to put the blood over here. Instead, he put it on this. You see this little square that the red dot is next to? Where is it? Right over here. Okay. Mizbeach Hazah. Very good. So, if you're supposed to put it over here inside the Heichel, and by mistake, that's you can get confused. You know, you used to doing Zrika on this Mizbeach all year round. One day a year, you go over here. A couple times, you put it over here. So you made a mistake. Bachot, you're supposed to put the blood on this Mizbeach. Instead, he went inside. That's really sneaky. He used it as an excuse to go put it in. Okay, so over here, Rabbi Yossi says you got to gather because there's zero zrika. You know what? At the end of the day, you put it on a mizbeach. You're right. They look very different. One is made out of stones. One is made out of gold. One is huge. You need a ramp to get up. The other one is only like 4 feet tall or something. Okay, but at the end of the day, you put it on a mizbeach. We have the pasuk. Here we go. Savis Aram is born of Lemer. Zois means justice. Taurus ha'oila. He. This one. Ha'oila. The oila. What do I learn? Harei elu miyutin. This comes to exclude 3 things. Prat l'nishchato b'layla. V'sheneshbach dama. V'shiyotza dama chutz l'kloim. Im also tered. We're going to see a phenomenal video in a second from Yossi Shachar, our weekend AI guy. I was very impressed with this. I liked it a lot because I think it puts a certain idea in our head, and there's a lot of learning you can do from it. Anyway, there's a concept. Once you put something on a mizbeach, it doesn't come off. We're going to see a machlokes. Reb Shimon says everything. Doesn't matter what. In the video, he's going to go through the whole list. One of the things he talks about is the blood that goes above, you put it below. Below, you put it above. Tome, it all. But the first man, the Omar says, Rabbi Yehuda says, besides 3 things. If it was shechted at night, you take it off. And if the blood spilled, and that's the part that we're looking for, the blood that spilled on the floor, take it off. And if you took it outside of the kloim here, we might as well just look at the chart for a second. Oh, somebody enlarged it for me. Shkoyach. That was very smart, actually. No, I'm not able to do it with the laser for some reason. Laser? Oh, I am. Here, if you took it out from here and you went over here, Shalom Yisrael. Or over here. No, I can't. Let's go back to the other one. Here. If you go outside this way, it's all over. If it comes on the Imolsa, tear it. Reb Shimon Omer, let's read this. Oila ein li ela oila kshero. The word oila means the karban oila. What's oila? It goes up to heaven. You put the whole thing on the mizbeach. You burn everything. Nothing. You don't eat 1 ounce of this animal. Everything goes to Hashem. How do you know the 3 things that we just meant? Va'alon, and meat that was left over the raw, overnight when you can't eat anymore. Va'yoytze, went outside of the base. Va'tame, and the person or the meat is tame. That we discussed. That you shechted it with the intent, a Yisrael, let's say, did zrika, or he's mekabel the blood. All these are going to be in the video as part of the rap. And blood that goes above, and he put it below. Blood that goes inside the heichal, and he put it outside of there. Here's the Shalei L'Shema, the first mission of Zevachim. That if it goes on top of the Mizbeach, it doesn't come off. Now we're not talking anymore about the carbon oila, we're talking about the word oila. Oila means to go up. If it went up on top of the Mizbeach, Riba Torah Achaz l'kol ha'oilim. Shemalo, Rabbi Isai, lo yerdu. How do we remember this? Very, very pashut. Here it goes. Rabbi Isai, pay attention.
אתה שם למעלה. אתה יודע שהבשר הזה טמא?
תקשיב לי טוב, אתה צודק, אבל אם כבר עלו, לא ירדו. נשתה בלילה, לא יורד, דם שנשפך, לא יורד, לא יורד, דם שיצא חוץ לקלעים, לא יורד, הלן, לא יורד, יוצא, לא יורד, טמא, לא יורד, נשחט חוץ לזמנו, לא יורד, לא יורד, נשחט חוץ למקומן, לא יורד, פסולים קיבלו וזרקו, לא יורד, ניתנין למעלה שניתנן למטה, לא יורד, ניתנין למטה שניתנן למעלה, לא יורד, ניתנין בפנים שנתנן בחוץ, לא יורד, ניתנין בחוץ שנתנן בפנים, לא יורד.
Oh, I forgot to say, this is not a base of Mikdash, by the way. This is in the mini Israel.
לא ירדו.
Okay.
Looks like I'm out of a job.
Givaldik. Lo yerdu. All that stuff doesn't go out, doesn't go down. Once it's on the Mizbeach, nah. If you guys want to see it again, let me know. Hold on, let's see how much time we have. Okay, 5 minutes. I said. What about an animal that an aver was done to it? Bestiality. Or somebody did avodah zara, haneva is avodah zara, muktzah, somebody designated his animal for avodah zara. V'esnan. And a sheep that was given to a zayna for services cannot be brought as a carbon. V'amechir. And if somebody sold or traded a dog for a sheep, interesting that Rav Yosef's son, paskined that it's this is going to upset a bunch of people. He paskins and you're not allowed to bring a dog into the sukkah. You know about this, Rav? You saw it? Yeah, in Dabrut. Yes, it was on the Dabrut. A lot of the Hasidim are very excited. Wait a minute. Oh, I know what you're thinking. No, not a person that acts like a dog, not a dog. Yeah. Vakloim, vatreifa. Vakloim is an animal that has two different, the goat and the sheep had a offspring, vatreifa. And I forgot who it was. Somebody just told me today that there's people that don't drink certain milk in America because it doesn't drink any milk. Why? Because in America, because they feed them a certain way, so they develop a certain something, and they have to have a. Yeah, but not most cows. Okay, so if most cows have this treifa. No, but even if they're not treifa this, they had some sort of surgery. Yeah, that causes them treifa. Yeah, if a lot of cows are treifa, roiva treif, so then the milk you can't have the milk from a treifa. The yoytze doifen. Here we have a yoytze doifen video. I got rishos. I showed this to a bunch of Hasidim before. I'm not kidding. Benny could in the Hebrew shir, and they all said I could show it, so I'm going to show it. I wasn't going to show it actually, but we had a. And also, don't forget, if anybody doesn't like it, it's nivgati.com.
Come here, little friend.
Yotzei Doifen is a Caesarean.
שהוא יוצא דופן, ולכן הוא פסול.
Oh, he can't be a carbon. Why did you say that? Let's say the Avodah Zarah animal cannot be imalu yerdu. Oh, let me show you the video. Hold on a second. Imalu yerdu. What's that? Besides Avodah Zarah. How do we know besides Avodah Zarah? It says zois. We got to get
אתה
into our
שם
head.
למעלה. אתה יודע שהבשר הזה טמא?
תקשיב לי טוב, אתה צודק, אבל אם כבר עלו, לא ירדו. נשתה בלילה, לא יורד, דם שנשפך, לא יורד, לא יורד, דם שיצא חוץ לקלעים, לא יורד, הלן, לא יורד, יוצא, לא יורד, תמה, לא יורד, נשחט חוץ לזמנו, לא יורד, לא יורד, נשחט חוץ למקומן, לא יורד, פסולים קיבלו וזרקו, לא יורד, ניתנים למעלה שניתן למטה, לא יורד, ניתנים למטה שניתן למעלה, לא יורד, ניתנים בפנים שנתנן בחוץ, לא יורד, ניתנים בחוץ שנתנן בפנים, לא יורד, פסחו חטאת שנשחט שלא לשמן, לא יורד, אם עלו למזבח, לא ירדו.
I saw your shaman guy just walk by. He took a peek. He couldn't control himself. Like he took another one. It's like, whoa. Tomorrow is going to be back in the chair. It's going to be Nervaim. Okay. Suck the Gemara. But what's Yerdu, Rabbi? Say Yerdu. Which ones? Esnan, Mechir, Reveh Nirva, the Mukta Nevad. Great. Umar Israel Rabbi say, why? What's the logic that this list you take off, this list you don't? Marbani is Eilu Shoya Psul Makoidish. Think about it. The list that you don't take off is because they were good karbanas. What happened? You put the blood in the wrong place, everything, but it was a good carbon. But the other list, they had no business coming into the Beis Hamikdash. They were Avodah Zarah before they got to the Beis Hamikdash. But we just learned from all this, from this whole video and everything, blood that was supposed to go above and went below. And there was no argument from Rabbi Yehuda's position. My time, is because we have to say that the Mizbeach absorbed it, so to speak, and made it good. You see from here, at the end of the day, we're going back to the question, I suppose, could you gather it off the floor or not? And the answer is, according to Rabbi Yehuda, no, you can't. Omar Rebbe Eliezer, we're just going to do this small sugya, and we are at the Mishnah, and that's it for tonight. How we're doing time? Givaldik. Mizbeach hapnimi mekadosh psulim. Oh, let's go back. We need this chart. Chaval, I told Avremi called me up right before, and I was like, I had no idea. The Mizbeach hapnimi, it's actually blown up, so it's great. Right over here. Oops, not that one. Lo you do. Here. This guy. This is Mizbeach hapnimi. What happened? Mizbeach hapnimi kadosh psulim. If you put something, we're talking about the outer Mizbeach, but even the inner Mizbeach, if you put on something there by mistake, it's mekadosh. You don't take it off. Michael Mashmalon Tanina Hanitonim b'fnim. We learned that if it's supposed to be inside, you put it outside, or outside you put it inside. It's okay. I think okay, that's the blood, things that have to do with the carbon. But flour that you went like this and you wanted to put some flour on the mizbeach. There's never a situation where you put flour on the mizbeach hapnimi. Blood, yes, once in a while, but not flour. I think that doesn't have the ability. It's not in the parsha. It doesn't have the ability to be mekadosh it. Kamashmalon, it does. Meisvei ketoyer zara. Shalsa legabe mizbeach tered. So the over here we're talking about the inner mizbeach. So what's ketoyer zara? Rabbi say, I'll show you what ketoyer zara is. Without going into too many details, because the guy's going to sue me. There's a place in Brooklyn. I'm not going to say where and how. A little bit of a museum, let's call it. And I was there, and the guy made up a couple good geshmaka maises shekematayu. First maises, he said he scuba dived and he found a machzis hashekel. Mamish himself found it. It's worth $3 million. The whole mice, he showed it to us. It's in a behind the thing. That was wow. Then he says, listen, I have mamish the ketores, and this could save people from a lot of different things, including if you have kids that can't sleep, you just have the ketores in your closet, and the kids are going to sleep. And also protects from fires, because there's a guy by the name of Avi Kamiansky from Chicago that he had the ketores, and because of the ketores, the whole maisa how he was saved from a fire. Later on, I met Avi. We all know Avi, and I asked him about the story. Anyway, maybe it was a different Avi. But anyways, my sister-in-law had issues with her kids falling asleep. Now the issues are, I'd rather had her son for Shabbos. The issue is the reverse. They don't get up and whatever. It's a different story. So she really wanted this Taurus. The problem is, it was like $500. He only had one left. You can't. It's only $500. What he's gonna? It's one of a kind. One of a kind. So, being the nice brother-in-law that I was, I bought it. 10 minutes later, we're on the way home. My brother calls me and says, "You're not going to believe it. They sell this exact thing, man. It's like this in Eretz Yisrael for 22 shekel." I'm like, "What?" The kids are. It was not. I met the guy later on in Chicago. I asked him, "Why did you rip me off?" A whole zach, whatever. It's not posh, not posh. Anyways, if you go to that museum, do not buy this for $500. Here it is, and it actually has the name of the company of his thing on it. Whatever they have. This is the Ketores. This is Ketores Zara. Okay, all that for the story. You take this and you put it on the mizbeach. What's the halacha? So. If you put this on the inside mizbeach, you got to take it off immediately. It's the outer mizbeach. This guy right over here, this mizbeach, the regular mizbeach that we use all year round, day and night, that's the one that has the power to take things that are not supposed to be there and say it's okay. Sorry. Tartzachi. But the inner one doesn't have the powers. Tartzachi. No. What we're going to say is, we weren't talking about the inner mizbeach. We're talking about the outer mizbeach. If this goes onto the outer mizbeach, the regular mizbeach, the large mizbeach, take it off. Because the outer mizbeach does not have the power to be mekadesh things, only things that belong there. Ketores doesn't belong on that mizbeach. Where does ketores belong, Rabbi say? Right over here on the mizbeach haketores. It's called mizbeach hazav, mizbeach haketores. That's it. Vapnimi, the opposite than what we said in the Havamina. Vapnimi, the inner one, is so powerful. Bein royaloi, bein shein royaloi. It could actually be mekadesh things that have no business being there at all. My time. What's the difference between the inner one and the outer one? Hi Ritzpa Vaiklei Shars. Let me just show you this video before you jump up and run. This is the Mizbeach HaChitzon. What is it made out of? A bunch of cement, a bunch of different things. This is just the Saber Seinayim, Rabbi Sai. Just so you get an idea. But look at this one. This one is made out of gold. That's the whole thing, okay. So Mela, that has a lot more powers. Rabbi Sai, good Tavach, a good Moed. Thank you so much for coming.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.